Cafe Anyway.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I can't feel my face when I'm with you, and I love it. Hi, I'm Mike Matthews, and this show is called
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to episode 1857. If you are a fan of this show, you are named Kevin, because that's the person that I know who listens to this show for show. Thank you, Kevin, for listening to this show. What? Kevin doesn't listen anymore? Aw, damn.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
I thought I had a listener, and now I am told that listener does not listen. Then who's listening?
Mike's
Anybody out there?
Daily
That's a song.
Podcast.
Is there anybody out there?
Yeah!
I'm thinking of Pink Floyd. I don't know what you're thinking of. Maybe you're thinking of nothing. Thank you for listening to the show. Recently, I was told I have to censor myself. I have to be careful about what I say, because it may be taken out of context. You know what that's called? That's called censorship. And that's not American. That's not what the values of America were built upon. With this wide open free internet, as I gaze out from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, out over the hills of the East Silicon Valley Bay Area thing. And I know that freedom is what we were all meant to do with the internet. And then all of a sudden, along comes Elizabeth the Warren. And the Warren is warring on tech industries because they're evil now. They're huge. They're big. They're colossal. Remember in the times beforehand? I know you can. Remember when it was just a thought, maybe the tech, the internet will be something big someday. And then it wasn't. And it was huge. It was a big, colossal collapse in the late 90s, early O's. And it was like, okay, it ain't going to work. People got to go into a store and buy stuff. And it was all this build, storefronts.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Is a storefront. The picture today is of no, it's of Basil the Boxer and I recently over in Podcastro Valley. And there was shortly after this picture was taken, Basil and I were over visiting some horses that I've featured pictures of these horses before. One of them's named Lucky, the other is Emma. So we're over there, and Emma's owner's there, nice guy. And suddenly Emma comes right after Basil, and it was a frightening moment. Because Basil can't really move out of the way. If he's moving, I have to help him move, because I lift him up from the back with the harness, because he's over 10. He has the degenerative myelopathy. So I'm helping him move, and the horse is coming Emma's coming right at us, and the owner's going, Emma. Basil. On him. And so Basil then the owner said, you can make a shortcut through my backyard. So he opened up his fence real quick, and we got in there as fast. But Emma was like cutting us off. This huge horse is cutting us off back and forth. It's scary. Wow. Cafe Anyway. Podcastro Valley 10 today. There was this dream once upon a time about the internet and how great it's going to be. And now here we are. And what happened? To quote Fred Willard in A Mighty Wind. Nobody saw that movie. Okay, a couple of you did. Good. And I've been trying to see Christopher Guest's other movie, Waiting for Guffman, but my library doesn't have it, and I won't pay for the Amazon Plus or wherever I can get movies. I got the Netflix. I watched The Outlander last night with my lovely lady friend. And I will tell you, the lead actress in that is nude a lot. She just said, oh, you want me to have my clothes off? Rip. Here they are. Here it is all. Our clothing gone. Me naked. Oh, I'm back in 1700s Scotland fighting the redcoats. Scottish people are Neanderthals. They allow each other to punch each other like Fight Club, and it's bloody and awful, and teeth get knocked out. It's not nice. I don't like this show. I'm going to be honest with you. After watching 2 episodes, Outlander, yeah. I thought maybe, it's going to be like Highlander and Duncan, what's his face? And then the only way to kill the immortal is to cut his head off. And then there's Queen singing in the background, and Sean Connery comes out. I'm a Highlander. And all that. And then it turned out to be a naked girl, check. She goes back in time travel, okay, check. But she's not in modern times. She's in post-World War II times in Scotland. And then there's people with wounds, war wounds, and soldiers raping defenseless women. And women are... I don't know how women are portrayed in this thing. Because the lead character is female, and she's naked all the time. And she's a nurse, so she's smart, and she's a powerful person. Someone you can look up to, yet she's an admirable person, and she's suddenly cast into this time period she knows quite a lot about, because she reads and she's intelligent, and she is up on her history, her British and Scottish history. And there's just total... It's Neanderthal crazy time in the Scottish near what's that place, that city, that Inverness. There you go. All right. Anyway, that's all Cafe Anyway I have to say about that. I'm not going to watch any more of it. But that's how I spent my Friday night with my lovely lady friend. But let me just say that you should be allowed to say what you want. And I started this song about this show with a song kind of singing about faces. And there was the band Faces with Rod Stewart and Ron Wood. And the one, every picture tells a story, don't it? And to stay with me, 'cause tonight you're going to stay with me. Sit down, stand up, shut up. The faces that we all wear. And some of us are nice and kind, and we're there for each other, and we're good. But that face lies. And deep down, there lies the insides of the person are wholly different from what you're seeing in the face. That's why I don't really care for facelifts. And I mean, if you have to, you have to, but it throws me off because I don't see the real person. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we're bringing Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley 10 today. But then again, this body, this mortal coil is but a shell. What's going on behind the face is the question. Eyes without a face? Huh? Billy Idol, your eyes without a face? Referring to a book, right? Or a movie. Famous one that I can't recall. Probably the heroine of the story, Outlander would know. Who's nude all the time. And that's something, I guess, as I was telling someone the other day, there's 2 kinds of naked, as Louis Grizzard used to say. There's naked, where you just have no clothes on, and then there's naked, where you have no clothes on and you're up to something. That's the difference. This is the Podcastro Valleyton Show, Mike's Daily Podcast, and I would love to hear from you. 336MM Daily, 336MM Daily. The real you. What's going on with the real you? Can you see the real me, Doctor, as the Who would say? And that is okay. I know there's things we need to hide. There's secrets we want to keep inside. We don't care for the rest of the world to know. That's fine. And you have to have secrets, and some things you can't talk about. But there are other things you have to get out. And it's I understand that part. And you have to talk to somebody sometimes. You got to sit down and go, you know what? I just need someone to talk to. And everybody needs a hand to hold on to, as John Mellencamp would say. Gosh, I was in such a John Mellencamp situation the other day. So much John Mellencamp. I was born in a small town, little pink houses, and you and me, ain't that America? A little story about Jack and Diane, two American kids living in the heartland. Hey, he had a song, Dancing Naked, just naked. And that's sometimes you got to get in a John Mellencamp thing. I don't know if John Mellencamp will be here when we get out of this decade, the 2010s. I don't know if he'll be around because the dude smokes a lot. And it's a hard lifestyle those rockers go through. But maybe so. Okay, that's about all I got. Hey, let's say hi to some people out here at Cafe Anyway. Let's see how if they're showing us a face that is true, or does it lie? The lying face. Let's find out.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. What you're talking about today is like really deep and stuff. I liked Outlander.
You did? The nudity you didn't have any issue with it?
No, Mike Matthews. I enjoyed the story and the beauty and the horror, and it showed like how life was back in those times. It was really sad.
It was. They were poor out in the Scottish Highlands.
Oh, but after you watch it, you got a thick Scottish plague. You can't think about anything without a Scottish accent.
What's that, Mike Matthews?
Nothing. Look who else is here.
Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman.
And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, how come when you go on Instagram and you're trying to ask a question to Instagram, they don't answer any of your questions? Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg, that owns Instagram. Somebody I know had a question about Instagram, and Instagram wouldn't answer a question because there's no way to ask a question to Instagram. By the way, if you want to find me on Instagram is where I am. Green eggs and ham. It's Instagram.com/MikesDailyPodcast. There, I made it simple. Hey, listen to my show. I'm going to be on KKDV tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. to noon. KKDV, you can hear it online, kkdv.com. And, of course, go to MikesDailyPodcast.com. And one more internet thing. Microsoft has decided, have you heard this? They have deleted this database of faces. Speaking of faces, they deleted their face database with more than 10 million images of some 100,000 people that was reportedly being used by companies to test their facial recognition software. They ended it because the person who was the head of it has left the company. The site was intended for academic purposes, they tell Fast Company. I used to subscribe to Fast Company. I used to love that magazine. I wouldn't understand half the stuff they were talking about. But, yeah. The company may claim it wants regulations for facial recognition, says Fast Company, but it also wants to use facial recognition technology to sell your stuff at Kroger through Minority Report-like ads. Crazy. If you don't know what Kroger is, it's a supermarket that you find in the South. We don't have any that I've seen in the Bay Area, but when I lived in the South, they have it. They have pretty good food, although it was expensive. I was more into Publix. Yeah, I bought a lot more stuff. Actually, I bought a lot of stuff at Walmart when I was in the South because I didn't have a Trader Joe's nearby. The closest one was an hour and a half away. And Microsoft has eluded privacy-related scrutiny for years. And they just go ahead and deleted it all. Crazy. All right, well, have fun today. Do some shopping. You know what? I think what I'm telling you is if you want to be treated... if you want to be treated like a human being, if you want to be treated in a real way, show your real face. That's what I'm telling you. Be real and show your real face and smile on that face and make it a real smile. You know, if you can't smile, at least give something. I notice people that just don't even look. You know, a lot of people today, even in the Bay Area, will look at you and they'll smile and they'll go, hello. And you know, say hi. It's kind, it's nice, it's reassuring in a crazy, crazy world. At least give an attempt. Give me something. All right.
Well, that's the end of the show.
The next show will have the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster, Livermore, Rodeo. Romeo, wherefore art thou? The rodeo is where art thou in Livermore, I guess, right now. And by the way, I should mention, because I'm not going to like this page, but a friend of mine works for this website that promotes indie bands and bands struggling. And I've had on my show before in the past interviews with my segment Into an Interview. In fact, that's also on Twitter, @Into an Interview. And there is, I used to promote the indie bands and the bands that weren't getting any promotion. And I don't do that anymore for various reasons. One of them is you get dinged when you post a podcast and there's someone else's music on it. And there's all kinds of headache. And then also trying to coordinate with musicians was a pain in the butt, and I got sick of it. But a friend of mine has gotten into it, and B-Sides On Air is the Facebook channel thing. If you want to, speaking of faces, check them out on Facebook. B-Sides On Air. If you want to check out some indie bands, or if you're an indie band that wants some exposure, they're the people to talk to. All right, that's the end of the show. Thank you for listening. Hope it's a wondrous day filled with happy faces, smiling faces, real faces, kind faces, faces that can help you. Helpful faces, I guess. Not mean, angry faces. Let's stay away from those. All right, that sounds good. What do you think? Call me 336MM Daily. That's 336MM Daily. Or check out the website, MikesDailyPodcast.com, and check out the various social media I am on, and I'll check you out back. Thank you for listening. Check it. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Okay. Talk to you tomorrow, hopefully, on Mike's Daily Podcast. Take it away, Ariel. There I go.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MikesDailyPodcast.com. Email Mike now at MikesDailyPodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.